I think it's time for us to talk about a few things. So if you have been around my channel for the past couple years, you're probably realizing that some things have changed. You're probably like, Jamar, why the fuck are you posting all this YouTube content? And I kind of just put it on you guys. I was just like, surprise, YouTube, boop, 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 boop. And I think it's time to really explain, because I think this is a story that some of my people in my community, people that are following me, people that are already kind of inspired by me already kind of live the same thing, especially if you are in the marketing space. So let's talk a little bit more about this, right? So let's kind of break down my journey to being a YouTube coach, because that's kind of what it is. I am now a YouTube coach. I am a YouTube strategist. And it feels so good to say that. But I really want you guys to understand what has happened on the back end, because I think this is going to be really, really important for anyone that is possibly in the same kind of lane that I am in, like that's going through the same predicament. And so when I first started this business in 2014, I started out as a YouTube manager. Okay, I was managing people's accounts, and that burnt me out so quickly because, one, I wasn't charging what I was, right? What I should have. I was 21. I was like around 21 or 22, like just making some quick money as a social media manager, being like, if you have money and you have a social media presence, I will manage it. That was literally what my business was about, right? And it wasn't until 2017 that I decided to go into coaching. And because I was like, okay, I don't want to do management anymore. Let's go ahead and do coaching. It's easier, right? We all think coaching is much easier than management, right? But coaching has its own little things, little do we know, right? And so I started doing that in 2017. And when I did coaching, it was great. Like, that's how I started out. It was perfect because I was also working a full-time job as well. And so I was doing coaching up on the side. It was perfect. Then in 2020, I decided to leave my full-time job and do social media coaching full-time. So this is where the pivoting and changing starts happening a little bit faster, and I'm not even really understanding what's happening here, because with social media coaching, I was doing more so of like the Instagram coaching, right? I was teaching people most of the stuff that they were wanting to know was Instagram related, right? And so that's cool. I'm fine with Instagram. It was great while I was doing it. But when I left my job, I started to realize, like, I needed to make some money, honey. I was like, okay, I don't have time for just these people who are just like, don't know what to do. And so what was happening was I was getting people who wanted to work with me for social media coaching, but they needed help building their business, really. And they didn't have an offer. They didn't really understand how to sell. They didn't really understand like the business components. And so you can't do marketing if you don't have anything to sell. And so it kind of was a thing to where I was like, well, if I needed to make money, this is what people like need from me right now. This is what's coming to me. So do I take the social media coach away and just become this business coach that people needed, right? Because people just started coming to me needing social media help, but really deep down it was business. And so I became a business coach, a business social media coach, or a social media business coach, this hybrid, right? And this happens to a lot of people that are Instagram coaches or social media coaches. They end up helping people with their business, and they end up transitioning into a business coach, right? They start leaving their lane, their expertise in Instagram or in marketing, and they end up helping people build their actual business. And that's what happened to me. And so then I started helping people build their offers and showing them how to promote that up on Instagram. And that was fine. But again, I literally was like, it was just so weird because I was like trying to teach them how to do things, and I started getting tired of it. Like, I do love like the foundational type of like trainings that I would do. I love that stuff, and I even like launched my group program. I'm posting for profit, but one-on-one, I was not really loving it. It just started to be so repetitive, over and over and over. The questions started coming. Jamar, how do you do hashtags? Jamar, how do you do this? Oh my God, Jamar, I don't know my ideal client. I don't know this stuff, right? And I could shoot that off like clockwork because I have built these frameworks in place. I have built these ways for me to easily assess someone's stuff, that it was easy, but then it just became just too repetitive, and I started getting bored because really I liked that part, but after it, you're telling me that I'm with you for 4 more months. I'm like, oh. And now we're just going through you just having all these spirals of like who you're targeting and you not feeling comfortable with posting on social media. It was just too much, right? I don't have time for all the spirals. That's kind of what happened. That's what happened right there. I didn't want to deal with too much of the spirals. The spirals were driving me crazy, right? Because we would go through what would happen, what we needed to do inside the meeting, and then a week will go by and the client would do nothing. And then it will come to another call and they'll be like, oh, I didn't really do anything because, and it was some kind of like emotional mindset block. And I was like, oh my gosh, we are never going to get through anything if you do not get past this mindset block. And at this point in time, I don't mind talking about mindset, but that's not, I want people who are ready to like do the work and just let's go. But anyway, let's just move on. Keep in mind that I was still doing YouTube stuff throughout this whole time, and my content was showing that. So I was doing a lot more of like Instagram related YouTube content, which you guys are used to, right? And y'all were eating that up. I have tons of views up on Instagram related content, IGTV related content, Instagram engagement, Instagram growth, all this stuff, right? It was perfect. I was getting all these leads that I was getting one-on-one coaching clients from it. It was great. But again, like how I said, that cycle was just like, I did not like what I was teaching anymore. And I think that's really, really important for us to understand, because I was so far removed from what my expertise was or what I enjoyed, like the part of my expertise that I really enjoyed, that I just couldn't. So I started being more interested in my YouTube channel and understanding what happened there, right? Understanding, oh, these people are all coming from YouTube. What's going on there? And I love that. And then I was always hinting to YouTube for my clients all the time. YouTube has been something that I have started since 2017, right? It's something that has always helped me build my brand, right? It helps me rank in search engines. It helps my content be found. And it wasn't until 2020 that I had decided to use it, or that I used it to actually make money, right? And that's one thing that I was there's tons of people who here, they don't understand how YouTube works as a marketing tool. And so here's the thing. As I was making all of this YouTube content for Instagram and all this other stuff, like I wasn't really serving myself. Like the content was serving the people that I was currently working with, but I was just in this cycle of just making content to get the same type of client that I didn't want to serve anymore. And so here's what I had to do. I had to make the pivot, right? And so we realized that, like, Jamar, you love YouTube. Why are we not specializing in YouTube? Why are we not doing this? And I think a little part of it was because I didn't think people cared about YouTube. I didn't think people cared about using YouTube as one of their main sales channels or their main marketing channels, because all I was surrounding myself with were people who cared about Instagram. Right? They always want to know about Instagram. They always want to know about stories. They want to know about hashtags. Oh my God. If I hear another question asking me about hashtags, I was going to explode. I could not deal with it anymore. But the thing is, I wanted to focus more into something that was really aligned with me. And YouTube SEO and ranking on YouTube was something that I really enjoyed. It's so amazing. And I realized that there wasn't a lot of people that were teaching YouTube strategy in the way that I teach it. They don't teach it in a way for coaches, consultants, and online service providers. They taught it in terms of video confidence, or they were a lifestyle YouTuber turned YouTube coach, right? And there's a different strategy for lifestyle YouTube channels and actual educational channels. And I don't think people understand that. And so in some of the ways that we move, right, our priorities are different. We have to do different things, right? Because when we're thinking about a lifestyle channel, right, their job is to entertain. Their job is to keep people on the app for as long as possible and get entertained. And most of the time, their job is they get paid through YouTube monetization, right? Now, when it comes to a coach and consultant, that's not really our primary goal. Like, yes, it'll be great to have a YouTube check. Okay, we all love that. I would love one too, honey. But at the end of the day, we have an expertise that what we're trying to do is use YouTube as a funnel to generate traffic from problem-aware people so that they can buy our services, right? That's a different intent. That's a different goal for the content. So when you have a lifestyle YouTube coach who probably doesn't really understand your goals when it comes to YouTube, they're not really able to best serve you. And I started realizing that there was a gap in there. And guess what, honey? I am here to fill the gap, okay? And so we really need to figure that out. We really need to understand what is the strategy for coaches, consultants, and service providers and other service-based experts out there. There needs to be someone who is able to teach this in that way so that they can literally like follow what the rules are and start ranking. Now, what does this mean to you? What does this all mean to you? Because I told you everything. This is kind of like my coming out story the second time. I'm just kidding. But what does this mean? So I have a lot of new offers, right? And you've probably heard a few of the offers in the other videos for YouTube. But one is very, very new and you don't know about it yet. And this is going to be the first time that I ever talk about it. I have just released a YouTube education shop. I'm calling it the Ready to Rank shop. And this is going to be your one-stop place for on-demand DIY YouTube education trainings and templates. And this is specifically for coaches and consultants and strategists and online service providers, people who are CEOs in their businesses and they need to use YouTube as a way to drive traffic to those offers. This shop is going to be just for you. Now, if you made it this far, I'm going to treat you, right? I want you to go to the website, which is going to be in the description down below. It's shop.jamardiggs.com, and you're going to get 40% off of the entire store. Okay, now this code right here is going to be only active for the first 10 people that use it. So if you have watched this far, this means that you better get your booty into that store right now before the other people get to that code, honey. Okay, now what is in the shop? We have trainings from like how to edit your YouTube video, advanced keyword research, YouTube SEO trainings, how to design your channel art and thumbnail art. We have so many things up in there that I think is going to be really helpful for you. So if you want to take a little gander, go ahead and click the link in the description box down below. Now, we also have the other stuff like the YouTube intensives, 90-minute strategy sessions where we break down and have you have like a decent strategy of where to take your channel, right? I go through my 3-part framework of your positioning strategy with YouTube, and then my implementation strategy, and then your promotion strategy to make sure that you're getting as many people as possible to your channel within the first 24 hours of your video upload each time. Right, so I'm giving you a nice little strategy right there to make sure that you're at least off on the right foot. And then finally, we have the VIP strategy, which is a done for you service. All you do is meet with me for 90 minutes and I go in and do your whole YouTube strategy for your first 12 videos. And that means I'm giving you the topics, I'm giving you also the SEO action plans, which is filled with what the title should be, what your tags should be, what your description should be, what info cards should be there, and also what your end cards are, and then also any other extra notes that I want to add per video. And so you get 12 of those. So you'll be able to be all set with your first 12 videos right out the gate. This is so big and I just love it. And I just want to tell you that like all the information is going to be down below. But with this whole change, you may be seeing how like some of the views are a little bit different, right? My Instagram content got a lot of views versus my YouTube content. And that is because YouTube has categorized me as an Instagram education channel, right? And so what I have to do is I have to now work on getting my channel recategorized as you guessed it, a YouTube education channel, which is what I'm doing, but it takes time, right? So I have my strategy for my keywords now. I have a content strategy around those keywords and trying to rank for those, right? And so then eventually YouTube will recategorize my channel. It just takes time. And so with that being said, it will mean the world to me if you were to like this video and watch all the other videos that I put out from this day forward. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not been subscribed already so that you can get up to date on whenever I post a new video each and every Monday. And thank you so much for letting me be a little bit transparent with you. I hope you have a wonderful day and let me know what your thoughts are with my pivot down below. All right, I'll talk to you soon and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.